Hello, viewers. Welcome to another episode of the Uniben Alumni Series. As you know, this is a show where we discuss we have conversations with alumni at the University of Benin, men and women that have gone through the four walls of one of the greatest tertiary institutions in West Africa, the University of Benin. On to this episode, we have a man that has not acquired just one, but three different certifications from our institution. He holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Political Science and Public Administration from our university. He holds a Master's of Science in International Relations and also a Master of Arts in International History and Diplomacy. He's a former local government chairman of Egor, Local Government Area Council of Edo State. He is Honorable Ehi Egharevba. Thank you very much, Honorable, for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, sir. Honorable, you attended University of Benin. You are from Edo State. Can I assume that proximity was the reason you picked University of Benin, or were there other reasons why you opted to study at the University of Benin?
Yeah, I would agree with you that proximity was the reason. And again, I had family members, especially my uncles. One of them was kind of my role model. You know, within the family, you have people you particularly look, up to. He was a bigger uncle. We had gone to the same primary school. We had attended Edo College together. And of course, he was in the University of Benin studying medicine at the time. So it was just natural for me to be inclined towards joining him at the University of Benin. And of course, my other uncle, Bob, he was in the social science and both of them are in the UK now, but they kind of encouraged me to come to the University of Benin, and of course, no regrets.
Mm, okay. Why the choice of political science and public administration?
Okay, I actually wanted to study law, you know, I wanted to study law, and I fell short a little bit in my jam, and the option was for me to sit out another year or go into political science, and in my dad thought I should wait out a year, but I was able to convince him that okay, I'm going to start studying political science and switch in my second year, which was an option. But in
Yeah.
my second year, when the issue came up again, I was in a hurry to actually graduate and get my life started, So I was able to convince him that okay, Dad, for not studying law, I'm going to do a master's degree right after graduation. And so we made a bargain and he agreed. So that was the reason for the first master's degree.
Okay. So, Honorable, with benefit of hindsight, you wanted to study law. Do you think you would have been more fulfilled now if you had studied law, or do you have any slight regret not studying law?
As a matter of fact, I do not regret it, but I registered for law a while ago. I'm still on it, but it's something I hope to fulfill in this lifetime and soon for that matter. But however, in my first and second year of studying political science, I was under the tutelage of some very great lecturers, and they made huge investments in my personality. The words that they said to me at that very young age, kind of directed my path to conclude my studies of political science. For instance, you had Professor Ogundikbe, who will say to you that by the time you graduate from the University of Benin, you don't need to tell anyone you are a graduate before they know. You don't go telling people, oh, I'm a graduate. No, by your conduct, by the way you speak, people should say, oh, this person must be a graduate. Then in political science, I also knew that all of society after God revolves around politicians. If you were a medical doctor, your highest ambition would be to be perhaps a chief medical director at a teaching hospital or to be a minister of health. Only a politician can help you fulfill that. Whatever profession you choose, even as a lawyer, you hope to be the chief judge of the country or you want to be a Supreme Court judge. Only a politician can appoint you to those places. So I knew that politicians were pivotal to members of other professions achieving their ultimate success. So I decided to know more about my profession, and hence I also pursued politics in reality.
Okay, that's a great one. Outside the certification you got from our institution, the three of them, what other things did you take from the institution? What attributes did you take from the University of Benin? That even when you were council board, it came in handy in your day-to-day activities. You still make use of those attributes. What are those?
Firstly, at the University of Benin, if there was anything that I took from Uniben, my attendance at the University of Benin, I'm not sure would have been less than 95%. That's, and I also took that into life itself. I do my best to forever be punctual at whatever engagement that I have and in any job that I am going to. And if I'm not going to be there for any reason, I don't blindside the people. I need to let you know well in advance. I knew about engagement, I knew about punctuality, I knew about timing, and how timing can determine a chain of other events, disruption. If you disrupt an appointment, it can lead to a chain of disruptions. And at the University of Benin, I knew that if I were attend my classes, punctually and I was seated and attentive, I probably would get a C even if I don't study anymore. So I knew I just needed to be in class. And if I was in class and I took my notes, I was going to make an average of a C. So for me to do better was just to study a little bit more. So that was the trick. A lot of people were not in class. They piled up studies and read. You have to create that balance. University of Benin taught me to also create balance. It's at the University of Benin I learned about personal budgeting. It was the first time that we are being allocated funds from homes, and you were
Yeah.
expected to judiciously use those funds within a certain period of time. Now nobody's going to tell you if you're going to spend all of your weekly allowance in one day was up to you.
Mm.
So personal budgeting was important as a way of, being stable on campus financially, such that you do not lag behind. Of course, it's one of the things that have interested me lately because I realized that at the University of Benin, thinking back, most of the students did not have funds during exam periods. They are run out completely.
Mm.
And many students probably wrote exams on hungry stomachs. And I think this probably will be having effect on the results that are coming out of most Nigerian universities that don't make provision for feeding of students. So balancing of your budget and being disciplined in that regard with your finances helped me a lot to avoid these booby traps.
Okay. Well, that's a very quite tricky but very important that you mentioned during exam period, and it's true because during exam period, students always run out of cash, always run out of food stuff and all that, and this definitely will have an effect on the output, on the results after writing exams. Honorable sir, you especially during your undergraduate days, what fond memories can you still remember today and you smile when you remember, oh, this activity was fun and or this event or something?
Well, uh, I wasn't such a sociable person on campus. I socialized in town with my friends from other universities and a few from the University of Benin. Because I was already from Benin City, so I had my social circle, and many of them would come from different universities during holidays and would socialize in town. And the reason why I avoided socializing on campus is because my uncle who was some 4 years ahead of me when I got into University of Benin. He was already a 400 level student of medicine. He gave me the orientation I didn't get from the school directly, and he had exposed me to a lot of things where I think students need to benefit from in the future if the university would get more aggressive with orientation. And he had told me to avoid campus. Socialization, especially I'll tell you, I never went for any should I say gathering? Was it gathering they called it then? I didn't go for any event on campus in the University of Benin throughout my stay.
Oh.
And why was that? because I've been told that most of the secret court clashes emanate from these events because
Okay.
there's struggle for supremacy. One group is in charge, and the other group are trying to get in without paying. And then the next morning, there's a lot of problem on campus. I wasn't a member of any secret court, and I didn't want to be caught up in the crossfire. I attended Edu College. Edu College is a school where boys are generally hyperactive and intelligent at the same time. So most of them, of course, belong to these not so good groups, and therefore I knew them from town, so
Yeah.
I didn't want to put myself in a situation of compromise. So I wasn't attending any of those events. Co-meets, Mr. World Cave Nights, I was not attending anyone. I just stuck to my studies and socialized in town. So I wasn't in a compromising situation where I would find myself where I don't want to be.
Yeah. It paid off for you, and that's fair enough. Yeah. And Honorable, at what point did you decide to go into politics? Because yeah, some person must have studied political science and they do not want to get into politics, into secular politics. But you, at what point did you decide, I want to lead my people at a particular time. I want to do this. I want to render service. What point did you take that decision?
Okay, I'm going to tell you this. In 2003, I wasn't actually living in the United States then, but my daughter was going to be born, my first daughter in 2003. I'm in New Orleans, yeah, Louisiana State. And I was there at that time, for the childbirth. And my uncle of blessed memory was quite close to the mayor of the city of New Orleans, Ray Nagin. That was his name. And I had a personal encounter with him, and because they were doing the fundraising. And I had this interaction very deeply. And I found out a lot of things that mayors could do. And mayors, of course, were, our equivalent of local government chairman in Nigeria. And I saw that he was quite young, and he had this a personal notion that he wanted to give back to society. He needed to uplift his people. And I felt like my people needed that kind of upliftment too. I was living in the UK then, accidentally. And when I came back to the United Kingdom, there was a football event. We call it soccer over here. There was a football event that took place. And my friends and I were at a pub watching it. And you had this Frank Lampard at the time from Chelsea Football Club was playing for England, and the
Mm,
opposing team was Trinidad and Tobago. I think it was a World Cup or there, but Trinidad and Tobago versus United England,
England.
right? And Frank Lampard scored for England, and my friend was overjoyed because he's a Chelsea fan. And there was this white dude in the pub who said to us like, "Come on, I thought you'd be happier for Trinidad and Tobago. You should support them. Like Frank Lampard is not even black." Of course, that
Yeah.
was a racist comment, but listen to this. Then my friend said to him, "I'm a Chelsea fan. Besides, I'm British." Yeah, the guy said, "Yeah, you are British, but you could never be English." You see the difference? You are
Yeah.
British, but you could never be English. It's an English thing. Like it's like someone becoming a citizen of Nigeria, but you can't be Benin, you can't be Robo, you can't be Shakiri, you can't be Hausa. You just can be a citizen on paper, but you
Yeah.
cannot. You can only be born into an ethnic group, or a race. So he just made that distinction. And then my quest for British citizenship just it felt like sour grapes in my mouth. I felt like, wow, I can only now be a British citizen on paper, but
You
in the
cannot
real
be an
sense,
Englishman.
I cannot be English, I cannot be Welsh, I cannot be
Yeah.
Irish.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be, So my pastor preached, Pastor Chris Oyakilome had preached one time that Nigeria will be built by Nigerians. It was at a youth conference in Lagos. He said Nigeria will be built by Nigerians, and he was urging us to take leadership positions. And that we should not, when you talk of corridors of powers, that righteousness will exalt a nation and sin will be a reproach. That he was urging us, irrespective of your age, we should get involved in the political process because politicians are influential, they are powerful, and they can change your life for good or for the bad. And if you are not involved, directly or indirectly, you will just be complaining and nothing will be done because those who are to do it are taking the back seat, under the guise of politics is dirty, but somebody's got to do it, and somebody must try to, participate in the cleansing process. So that's all of these three events. And eventually I visited Nigeria that I'm seeing on the posters, those who were running, you know, and I'm looking at them and I saw the manifesto. All the manifesto were pretty similar. It would appear they were taking it from a blueprint, an existing blueprint. Everyone was talking about road, school. It was the same thing, nothing distinctive about them. So it was just to make promises, of course. And I listened to a few, I went to a few political rallies, and this I kept hearing things, but nobody was talking about how they were going to do what they were going to do or how they were going to fund what they were going to do, which was different from politics in the diaspora, where politicians go the extra mile to explain to you
Yeah.
if they are going to be raising your taxes or how they intend to get funds, they are taking loans and all of that. So uh, I knew I had to go into politics, and again, my training was instrumental also. And once I got involved, I saw there was a lacuna, and when you go to your ward meetings, with all due respect to the people present there, to imagine that those people at the ward meeting, where you're probably going to find just one or two graduates, are going to be the delegates to elect your governors, your presidents, your senators. They are the ones to bring people for you to vote for. So
Yeah.
you are a graduate, you're a master's degree holder, you're a professor, you're speaking all the grammar, you know all the right things to do, but you are not even a part of the selection process. These people are going to select and present to you to choose from. So if you don't get involved at the grassroots, at the ward level, at the local government level, and help in the selection process, then whatever you are given, you have to pick from amongst those that are available to you.
Yeah.
So from there, I tried to also encourage friends to get involved in politics. And I think at the last count, in Edo South, for instance, members of the diaspora are very involved now. In the House of Representatives in Edo South, we have 4 members. And interestingly, uh, 3 of them are from the diaspora, like Orion and Onwode, he's from Atlanta, Georgia. Dennis, the outside of Canada.
Yeah.
Murphy or Morui for Egor and Bubaoka is from New Jersey right here. And the senator, of course, used to live in New York. So just the guy from Oredo is home based. So
Yeah.
eventually people from the diaspora tend to have heard the call to come home to add value to our political system.
Yeah. Oh, that's good to hear, Honorable. Let's talk about your time as council boss. Uh, Definitely there were challenges, especially coming in and with your ideology coming into it was not a new terrain, but it was not too familiar for you because of the ideology you were bringing in. What were those challenges that you faced initially settling into?
Okay, thank you very much for this rather interesting question. I Politics wasn't altogether new for me. My dad was very active in politics, and as a matter of fact, he had contested to be chairman of a local government in time past, and that brought me into knowledge of most of the political leaders in Egor. I knew them, from a distance at least, and they knew of my existence. The challenges you are going to face in politics, but I somehow found a way to navigate them. Like I find to I because I had knowledge of American politics, British politics, and of course, just opposing them against the Nigerian politics, I knew there had to be a kind of balance such that I could survive it. Nigerian political actors, your leaders have expectations, and of course, it may not be so in the United Kingdom, but in the United States, your political leaders do have expectations. They want perks of office, they want huge contracts and all of that because we practice the presidential system just like you have in the United States here in Nigeria. So leaders need contracts. So what do I do? You know, and I want to do road construction work. My leader don't have a road construction company. So what do I do? Okay, fine. Within the within the legal framework of our constitution, we are allowed at least 20% of the total cost of contract as profits, the profit margin, such that for a contractor, if the job was, for instance, 100 million, you could award that job for 120 million, so that 20 million will be the profits for the contractor.
Yeah,
Of course, you are going to have your retainership taxes and all of that factored in as well. So what do? I'm going to tell the leader, I'm going to call qualified contractors. Maybe I want to build a school. I had some school projects. I'm going to call qualified people from to bid for the job, and they bid for the job. And when you finish bidding for the job, I'm going to look for the most qualified. The most qualified, and I'm going to have a conversation with you that look, I came into this. You were not expecting I was going to pick you as a contractor because you don't even know me from Adam. I'm
yeah,
picking you now,
based on
yeah,
merits.
for
Yeah,
based on merits only. But I'm going to tell you that there's a political factor to my coming into this office. I'm not on a standalone situation. I was elected by people. I was supported by people. So this contract is going to be tied to one of my leaders. And I'm going to negotiate with you. Are you willing to take 15% of the profits and give 5% of the profit to this individual? And most of the contractors are more than happy to take that because they were not expecting that they will be called based on merit in the Nigerian system. And they accept. Then I call the political leader. Okay, I'm going to support you because you also supported me. One of the things I need you to do, you are going to be on site monitoring this project.
yeah,
And of your 5%, we are going to pay you 5 times 1% each. Each time I pay this man a percentage, it's going to give you a little percentage. Trust me, that politician is going to be on site, ensuring the quality of work done, ensuring the contractor moves speedily because he needs his money.
yeah,
And if the contractor is not doing the right thing, he's picking his phone to call me. So he helps me to supervise the projects. He gets a little percentage. The contractor is very happy that he's been picked on merit. He's helping his profile to say I've done so job for a local government. And so I'm able to strike a balance. The contractor is happy. I'm happy. The community is benefiting from a high quality project. And so I was able to strike a balance like that. I understood that you needed to carry politicians along because we are from a peculiar environment, peculiar in the sense that uh, Nigeria is not, let me say, I don't want to say we are a poor country, but we are a developing country and a developing economy, and our economic situation hasn't been the best in the last 2 or 3 decades. So you need to understand that these people need to survive one way or the other. But at the same time, you're not going to compromise on the quality of job you are doing. And at the same time, also, you need to deliver on your electoral promises. So you have to strike a balance. And that was pretty much what I did.
yeah. No, no, okay. Let's go to the achievements while you were boss. I know you had several achievements, and if there's time, you will be able to list them all. But what's that? What do you think is the biggest? So, you was more the most precious one to you that you achieved while as council boss?
Well, quite a lot was achieved. And I look back now, the party that I belonged at the time, was instrumental. They helped me. How did I say that? They formed kind of an elders council around me. And in that elders council, we had some former local government chairmen and some other persons. We had monthly meetings because one of the reasons why a lot is going on now is that there is no political accountability to the parties. I don't think there's any governor today who have a council of elders that they speak to every month, who can ask them questions. How are you running with the state? How much did you get this month? What do you? They never asked me for money, but they wanted to know what came in and what I intend doing with it. And next month we're going to do a review of what has been achieved and why you said last month we're going to do this. Why didn't you do it? What's going on? Is there a challenge? Can we step in and sort it out for you? Is it the community? So I had that balance. I had that benefit of having that elders council. I formulated it myself because I did not want absolute freedom for myself. I didn't want to be unaccountable to my political leaders because I knew the society on their own could not question me because they would not have enough information to question me. But I knew that when you are not accountable, most times you can make huge mistakes. So today, I don't see a lot of road projects being done. I did a lot of road projects in my time, almost 10.
Government. course.
road projects. Yes, they don't start new road and asphalt them. Local governments are not doing that, even though they are making much more than we did. I don't know why that is. Of course I did school projects a lot. I did market projects. We did town hall. I would not say we did town where we team. Myself. Unfortunately, my vice chairman at that time passed away now, Honorable Kingsley Bemi, so rest in peace. And my supervisory counselors, it will interest you to know that since I left, we are all still like a family. We are on good terms. We talk because they bring projects to me, like the supervisory counselor for health. I'll tell you, I have an interesting encounter.
Okay.
When I was after swearing in, I was assigned a driver to drive me. Paul Koro, he has also passed away. May so rest in peace. Two things I found out: Paul Koro lived at Wotubo. I was living in GRA at the time, and he had to be at work by 6 a.m. because my day would start by 7 a.m. I know most I go to the gym on my own, he will meet up with me there. But I feel like that he had to ride a bus, so I needed to buy him a motorbike. And even my security guard, I found out that they were taking Okada with their AK-47s to come to work. I needed to provide, just buy bikes across board from them from my own personal salary. Because, that was on the one hand. Two, when uh, when when we had uh, when we went out for anything and Paokoro was driving, I found out that he always was entering bumps, and I didn't think that was comfortable enough for him to, and I didn't think he wanted to cause me discomfort because I always was falling to bumps, gallops, and all of those things, and I thought to myself, one day I asked him to park the car and I asked him, is everything okay? Are you distracted? He said, no, it wasn't. I said, but why are you knowingly going into avoidable gallops? He said, "Pa, even they knew that I don't see them on time."
Oh,
And of course, I wear glasses. I knew that was an issue that okay, this guy wasn't sane. So I liaised with my supervisory counselor on health, and we decided to do a free eye test for all the drivers and every worker at the local government. It will interest you to know that we had close to 20 drivers, about 16 of them needed glasses. They were not wearing. And I called them. I wanted to I had a section with them. I asked, why don't you people wear glasses? They say, well, no one employs drivers who wear glasses.
oh,
They say your eyes are not good. So that also so we did that free test glasses, and we took it to the community as well. Look for elderly people that needed glasses. We supported them. But that's thing was at the back of my mind, and I actually spoke with the commissioner for transport. At the time was Honorable Rubusa Ojo. I had wanted a situation where they were going to do eye tests for most of the drivers on Edo roads, the public drivers, because from my observation, I noticed that it is very rare for you to see a public transportation driver wearing glasses,
glasses.
and
Yeah.
that is a huge coincidence. That even when you go on public transportation, the interstate ones like Edegbe, Yari, and the rest, they
Yeah.
don't even wear glasses. So, and I do know that of every 10 adults that has crossed about 40 years, at least three or four of them must wear
Must.
glasses.
Yeah.
So, how commonly Nigerian drivers are not wearing glasses? Because most of the time they are not being employed when they wear glasses, or they don't even know that they have those eyes defects, which of course is responsible for a lot of our road accidents. So we're trying to implement in Edo State, but guess who resisted it? The National Union of Road Transport Union said no, they were not going to participate when the commissioner tried to bring it to Edo State Fair. So I hope it's something the state leadership will look into in the
Mhm.
future, and even the federal government will insist, because here in the diaspora, one of the requirements for getting a driver's license is a mandatory eye test.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, so but that is not the case in Nigeria. You can go right ahead and get a driver's license without having your eyes tested to see if you are going to be a danger to other road users. So I found that from my encounter at the local government, and you
Yeah.
know,
And also, I think this can also be sold to the optometry council. I think they should be able to liaise with the government, either at the subnational level or the national level. This is really important. And even the
y-
FRSC, yes,
yes,
And the
You know,
stereotype should not be there that because you're using glasses, you cannot drive. That's not true. It helps you to drive better. Yeah, it helps you with your eyesight.
they just have that unfortunate notion that if they wore glasses, no one was going to employ them.
Yeah,
You know, so it's
okay.
unfortunate, but it is the norm back home.
That's very true, Honorable. Lastly, Honorable, there was a recent, I think, Supreme Court ruling for funds to be sent to local government directly. I don't know if it's in effect already. I don't know about that. But do you think that if this is being effected, do you think it will have impact on the service delivery of local government councils in Nigeria?
Well, it is one of the many steps that should be taken to free the local government from the vice grip of state governors. You know, the state governors have held the local government authorities captive for far too long. And if you look at, you are in the United Kingdom, I'm here in the United States, government is from bottom to top and
Yes.
not top to bottom. The expectation in Nigeria is that government is from top to bottom. Everyone screams at the presidency, and they tend to forget the state is there as a tier of government, and the local government is there as a critical tier of government. Because the local government that you wake up to, that is the closest government to you that is going to deal with most of the affairs that concerns you directly. But unfortunately, the local government is not able to achieve most of its potentials because of the state governments, overshadowing them, suppressing them, even in terms of tax collection. Like I'll say, if you're giving them resources, I think we should go a step further. There's technology now. It's not about resources. How do these people get elected? Why is it like only in
Uh-huh.
Nigeria is such that every ruling party in the state produce all the local government chairmen and councillors? We cannot continue with that foolery anymore. It must be stopped, because I'll give you an instance. Look at former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Boris Johnson. He was a mayor of London. He,
Mm.
as a local government chairman, could become prime minister of one of the leading economies in the world. Look at the chief of staff to Barack Obama as president of the United States, Ron Emanuel. He resigned that position in Obama's second tenure to run for office as mayor of Chicago. Imagine the chief of staff to the president of Nigeria resigning to go and run as a local government chairman in a state. That is to show you the quality of people that man local governments in other societies and countries. So for Nigeria to do well, we must find credible people to man our local government systems. Yes, the funds will come directly to them, but it takes a phone call. It takes a radio message for the state governors to filter those funds away because you are there at their pleasure in the first place. You were not there most of the time through popular votes. You were just handpicked. So you feel that sense of duty to them to do as they say. Then what's even worse for most local governments, especially those in the urban areas, like in those states, you're going to see like a go already, there is the what's it called? The compulsory burden that has been placed on local governments by the federal government. That is the payment of primary school teachers' salaries and all sundry allowances as a first line charge. What does that mean? When your local government allocation is sent to you, that is deducted before the remaining is sent to you as a local government chairman. So why is the local government paying teachers' salaries? We don't employ them, we don't train them, we don't discipline them, we cannot dismiss them. Why is the burden placed on local government to pay primary school teachers that are not our employees? So what happens that I mentioned the urban local governments? The rural local governments are perpetually lacking teachers. Why is that so? Why is there a drift? Or everyone who wants to apply for, to work in the local government, they go to the rural local governments to get employed. Then they transfer to the urban.
That's the urban areas. Mm.
So in most schools in the urban and local governments, they are overstaffed with teachers, while the urban and the rural local governments that are more are understaffed. One is overstaffed, so which is a huge salary burden on you. There was a time there one man had talked about one of our former local government chairman talked about zero allocation because by the time they did deductions, including traditional rulers, compulsory 5%. Now you did all the deduction, you are running a minus, for your allocation. On paper, it is seen that maybe 200 million came to you, but in reality, you are owing the FAC account about 10, 15 million you need to pay back before the next allocation. Meanwhile, you are getting nothing for that month because of deduction. So all this burden of deductions needs to be removed. We must find the right people to man our local government, and the electoral process must be transparent and credible so that people can feel the need to come forward and contribute their quota at that critical level of government.
Thank you very much, Honorable. It has been wonderful speaking with you. We really appreciate you
Thank you.
taking time. And
Thank you very much. I appreciate you. I
thank you.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes,
And have a wonderful day. It
you,
was nice, and God bless you.
you too, Honorable. We'll be speaking with Honorable Ehi Egharevba, former Egor local government chairman. Continue to subscribe to our channel. We'll bring you more exclusive interviews of Uniben alumni. Bye for now.